If you're over 20% body fat and you want abs, the truth is you will not get a ripped six-pack in 6 weeks. But following the right plan, you can get to 15% and even leaner. After 9 years of coaching busy CEOs and professionals, I'll show you what really determines how long it takes. But first, you need to avoid a few mistakes keeping most men stuck at 20% or above. Many guys think that there must be an easier way or a shortcut to get lean, but it's chasing shortcuts that is exactly what keeps you yo-yoing and stuck. And you've probably seen wild claims like,
get ripped abs in 30 days.
But if you're over 20% body fat, that's not going to be possible to do in a healthy or sustainable way. However, if you are already at 17% body fat, then sure, 30 days might be enough to get you down to 15% or below. Another misunderstanding is that ab workouts will melt belly fat, but crunches and core workouts don't actually reveal your abs. Lowering your overall body fat does that. Then there's the starvation diet approach. Robbing your body of energy and nutrients will make the scale drop faster, but at what cost? You will lose muscle and your energy tanks, and then most guys rebound harder than ever before. And finally, blaming certain foods for not losing fat. People blame bread or eating out or snacks, but the real issue is being in a calorie surplus more often than being in deficit. So by just setting an achievable time frame, you can avoid everything I just mentioned. And that's what I'll break down next, so you know exactly what's realistic for you. The average fat loss rate for busy men is somewhere between 0.5 to 1% of body weight per week. That's roughly half to 1 kilo or 1 to 2 pounds. However, if you are working 40 plus 50 hours a week, balancing family with social life commitments, you also need to factor those into your time frame as well. Here's an example. A guy who is, say, 90 kilos, 200 pounds at 25% body fat wants to reach 15% body fat. So he would need to drop at least 10.5 kilos, which is 23 pounds of fat. In theory, losing 1 kilo or 2 pounds a week would get you there in about 11 weeks. But that's assuming that every single day and every single week is militantly perfect. So instead, dropping just half a kilo to 1 pound per week gives you more space to actually enjoy your diet because it's only a mild deficit. This pace would take at least 20 weeks, possibly longer if life or work, gets in the way, life throws curveballs at you. But the benefit is you won't be hating every single minute of it, and you're still going to enjoy meals out, a bit of travel if you do that, time with the family, without feeling like you're dieting 24/7. So the factors that actually affect your timeline are your starting body fat. The higher the start, the longer the runway is obviously going to be. Your consistency with a calorie deficit. Are you really going to deficit most days, or are you erasing that progress with weekend binges? If you spend half the week recovering from a binge, then your fat loss is going to be like 50% slower than what it could be. Also, your muscle mass. The more muscle you have and you carry, the sooner the definition is going to show through, even at a higher body fat percentage. However, there are other personal factors that could impact your fat loss journey and cause weight loss resistance, which could be a combination of physical and mental stress, poor quality sleep, and step fluctuations day to day, yo-yo dieting off and on, high visceral fat, low muscle mass, or even muscle loss, hormonal issues, metabolic or autoimmune issues. This is why so many guys think that their genetics or their body is just working against them, when in reality, it's just the plan or the lifestyle not factoring in your unique situation. But something that guys haven't been told is that your metabolism, your BMR specifically, will adapt every 10 pounds that you lose, simply because your body doesn't have to work as hard to carry the extra fat that it no longer has. The quick way to figure out how long it might actually take you to achieve your goal to get lean is to use my free body fat percentage calculator. Links in the description. Now that you know the realistic time frame and all the factors that can speed it up or slow it down, here's a real example of how this plays out. So Ray, he was sitting at about 22% body fat. He was traveling weekly, juggling stress and eating out, which we had to adapt the program to. But by scheduling just 2 or 3 workouts a week, even at hotel gyms or even doing band body weight stuff, and sticking to 2 to 3 meals a day, he added more muscle while reaching the 13 to 14% body fat range in only 6 months. This shows that no matter how busy you actually are, if you are consistent with doing the right things, or the right diet, the right workout, you will actually get results. However, if you want to get under 15% body fat and actually sustain it, there are a few key things you need to pay more attention to. Instead of obsessing over how long it takes, just stack more days in a deficit than being out of a deficit, and you will look leaner. Your arms, your shoulders, your chest will get leaner well before your abs show. And this builds motivation, because as you start to see definition, this is when you're going to know, okay, things are working, I'm on the right track, and it's going to motivate you to keep pushing. You can also shorten your time frame if you approach it scientifically and sustainably. But if you're only relying on simply like eating healthy or going out for runs, you're going to be missing key data that helps you to get faster results. This means you need to track your workouts, that's sets, reps, and weights, everything you're doing, track your meals and your steps, and this will give you the complete bird's eye view of how you're doing week to week and month to month. It's what I do for my clients inside of my one-on-one coaching, so that they can keep their diet flexible and enjoyable without living in the gym. And just think about it this way, even if it took you 10 months to reach 15% body fat, compare that to 10 years of carrying around stubborn body fat. Is it really a big deal? I know everyone wants to be ripped yesterday. I hear that all the time, but that is just not how it goes. It takes what it takes. And the truth is that nobody cares how long it's going to take you to get lean. They only care that you got there. And then when you do get lean, you will not be sad that it didn't happen sooner, but you will be sad in 6 to 12 months from now if you change nothing, and then you realize other men who started in the exact same spot as you right now are now ripped and you're not. And they're no different to you, except they just implemented the right actions into their routine day after day, week after week. So let me show you this difference and how it actually looks in real life. So let's take two men. There's Elon and there's Donald, both starting at 23% body fat with a goal to get to 13%. Both weigh about 90 kilos, about 200 pounds. Now, Elon stays consistent. He tracks his food daily, hits 9 to 10,000 steps, does 3 workouts a week at home, nothing extreme, and he's losing about 0.5% of body fat per week. And at that pace, he reaches visible abs in about 20 weeks. Now, Donald tries to do the same thing, but slips into weekend blowouts, only tracks his food when he feels like it. He's missing 1 or 2 workouts every second week. Some days he only gets 5,000 steps or less than that. So he's only losing 0.5% every 2 to 3 weeks. At this pace, he reaches visible abs in about 50 to 60 weeks. Both men started in the exact same place. The only difference is really their consistency. But that's not all, because Donald felt stuck and frustrated the whole time throughout this process, as if his genetics were against him because of the slow progress. But really, it was just the inconsistency holding him back. But Elon focused on data, didn't worry about feelings or emotions. He trusted the process, accepted that there's going to be ups and downs and ebbs and flows along the way, life curveballs, and he knew that he was still moving forward because he's looking at the data. That is the difference between guys who finally get lean and the guys who stay stuck forever. So now that you know how long it really takes to get abs, the next step is really about having the right program to get you there. If you want to be consistent like Elon and finally get six-pack lean with personal accountability and support, apply for my metabolic recomp coaching. The spots are limited since it is a smaller, intensive group. Links in the description. Or if you prefer a more self-paced approach, grab the Business Body Blueprint routine. It's the full system to reach 15% body fat or below. And then when you've done that, go watch this video next where I break down exactly how I lost the lower belly fat.